Hey there, special educators. Welcome to Autism Academy 360, a podcast to making your job as special education teachers easier. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Abby, a behavior specialist. And together, we have over 25 years of special education experience.
And I'm a veteran autism teacher. We both are passionate about empowering you with practical teaching strategies and actionable tips and tricks that will help you thrive in your role.
Whether you're a seasoned educator looking for fresh insights, a newbie navigating your first classroom, or a parent of a neurodivergent child, this podcast is your go-to resource for all things autism.
So let's get started with today's episode. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Autism Academy 360. I'm so glad you're here today because today we're going to be talking about something that I think all of us have experienced: power struggles. Whether it's with a student in the classroom or your own children at home or even your husband or your wife, these moments can feel like a battle of wills. No one wants to back down. Emotions are high, and before you know it, things are going to spiral. But here's the thing. Power struggles do not have to happen. While it's so hard to avoid every single one of them, there are strategies that can drastically reduce the likelihood of finding yourself in that standoff. Today, I want to share 6 practical strategies to kind of help you prevent power struggles. And these tips can even work in the classroom or a home or even with coworkers and friends. So let's dive in. Let's start with the big picture. Why are power struggles so incredibly difficult? At their core, power struggles happen when two people are holding firm to their positions and neither one wants to give an inch. It feels like someone has to lose for this situation to be resolved. And let's face it, no one wants to lose. Add heightened emotions to this mix, and it's no surprise these situations escalate quickly. So that's why today's focus is on prevention. By shifting our approach, we can stop power struggles before they even begin. All right, so let's break that down into 6 actionable strategies. Number 1, I want you to reframe the battle. One of the most powerful tools is learning to reframe what you see as a battle and ask yourself this: is this worth standing my ground? Is it about the child, or is it really about me wanting the power? For example, when your student wants to use a marker instead of a pencil to complete their assignment, is it really that big of a deal? The work is still getting done, right? I've learned that some battles simply aren't worth fighting. Focus your energy on non-negotiables like safety, respect, and let the smaller things slide. You'd be surprised how often I've gone into classrooms to observe students' behavior, and I saw so many teachers and paraprofessionals get into these power struggles about something so stupid. I'm like, okay, why are we fighting about this? And I know that you've seen this before, and maybe if we've all kind of been stuck in this situation. So here's another scenario. A student might be upset about transitioning from a computer time or iPad time to group work. Instead of forcing the issue head on, consider the goal. Could they finish one last task on that computer before moving to the group? It's not about giving in, guys. It's about finding a way forward without the struggle. So you're still giving that direction, right? Okay, after this, we're going to move to group work. And it's still your direction. They're not listening to you. They are, but you're giving that one last incentive. All right, strategy number 2 is offering choices. I've talked about this on my own podcast, and again on this podcast with Abby and I. Choices matter. Kids so often, especially on the autism spectrum, feel like they have no control over their day, and that lack of autonomy can fuel a power struggle. So what can we do? You have to build in opportunities for them to make choices that actually matter. Instead of saying, all right, you have to write your answers on the worksheet, try, would you like to write your answers in the notebook or on a whiteboard? Or do you want to write your answers with this pen or this pencil? Giving kids the freedom to choose within their limits helps them feel more empowered without derailing your goals, right? We want to offer as many choices as we can because there is always an adult in their face giving them different directions that they have to listen to all day long. And at home, this might look like, do you want to put your shoes on first or your jacket? In the classroom, you would say, would you like to sit on the chair or the floor for this activity? These choices may seem small, but they go a long way in giving kids that sense of control. And I'm not talking about, okay, so for this school year, I really want to give Johnny one choice a day. No, I want you to try to give him 30 choices in the school day. And you might be like, okay, Lisa, how am I supposed to give him 30 choices every single day? I'm telling you, there are choices for every minute of the day. Do you want to put your head down or do you want to keep it up? Do you want to sit next to me or do you want to sit next to Sarah? Do you want to line up first or line up in 1 minute? Do you want to stand on my right side or stand on my left side? You will come up with so many different choices that they can do. They will feel like they are in control all the time. And I know some of you who are listening right now are like, yes, I have a student who is constantly battling me for everything. Guys, offer them choices. Any choices. All right, strategy number 3, model calm and respectful behavior. Kids take their cues from us. So if we're calm and respectful and patient, they're more likely to mirror that behavior. But if we snap and yell or react emotionally, they're going to pick up on that too. Oftentimes when we see this from kids, they've heard it somewhere else, whether it's the home or on TV or on YouTube or at school from a horrible teacher. So we want to make sure that we are modeling that respectful behavior. So let's say a student is absolutely refusing to line up for recess. Instead of raising your voice or rushing to frustration, try to stay calm, take a breath, and use a low, steady tone. I see that you're not ready. When you're ready, we'll all head out together. Modeling this calm response teaches them how to handle frustrations in a healthier way. And actually, this happened in my classroom this year where a student wasn't lining up and the teacher was getting mad at the student and the student wasn't listening. He was in his own world, humming to himself, so he didn't even see the classroom line up. And he got very frustrated and ended up throwing something in the classroom. However, this could have all been avoided if the teacher took the time out to walk over to the student. Now, this was a sub teacher, but if she walked over to the student and said, "Did you hear me? Do you see everyone lining up?" It might have been a lot more helpful than every student in the classroom yelling at the student to line up for recess. All right, so let's move on to strategy number 4. Use clear and visual transition warnings. Transitions, guys, can be some of the trickiest moments for kids, especially when moving from a preferred activity to something less exciting. How do we even ease this? By using clear and consistent warnings. For instance, instead of saying, "All right, stop, it's time to stop. We need to, head to math." Instead, try, okay, in 2 minutes, we're going to clean up. In 1 minute, we're going to get cleaned up and ready for a snack. In 30 seconds. A big trick to this is using a visual timer that can honestly be a lifesaver, gives those kids a clear understanding of how much time they have left, especially if they don't understand time yet. They really need to see the time disappear. So putting a little timer next to them or posting it on your whiteboard, however you're using timers in the classroom, they need a visual timer moving backwards. I've even used visual cards to kind of show the sequence of events. So first clean up, then snack, then play. I have a lot of these types of visual aids in my store. I will leave the link in my show notes if you want to go grab those. But these tools not only help with understanding, but they make transitions feel less abrupt and more predictable, so they know what's happening next. Strategy number 5, celebrate effort, not perfection. This one's huge, guys. Please do not skip this strategy. Don't punish the effort, even if it's not perfect. Let's say you're asking a student to clean up and it takes them a little longer than you'd like. They might grumble or hesitate, but they do start cleaning up. Instead of saying, "Finally, you decided to help," try, "Thanks for getting started. Let's finish this together." Or say they don't want to come to circle time and they're grumbling and you're over there and you're like, "Johnny, let's go. I said let's go. You need to get off your seat and come to circle time." Harping on the student is not going to help, especially you can't go over there and pick them up. You can't put a hands-on student, right? Only your words are going to be helpful. Your reactions, your behavior is going to be helpful in the situation. So saying, Johnny, it's time for circle time. And he's still grumbling. He's still at his seat. He's got his head down. Give him a few minutes. Give him a minute to make the right decision. And even though he comes over and he's dragging his feet and he's grumbling under his breath and he finally sits down, praise that. We want to praise the effort that they do. He still listened to you, whether he grumbled or not, but we want to reinforce the effort that the kids are showing in their actions, no matter how small. We want to value them and show appreciation. This encourages them to keep trying without that fear of criticism. If he would have came to the carpet and he grumbled and you're like, oh, finally decided to join us, he's going to be like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not doing this, and might, run away or run off. And I know some teachers could walk in and say, okay, that's not the way we're doing things. We're not coddling. Guys, this isn't coddling, especially students on the autism spectrum. So you want to be able to make sure that you are reinforcing the effort, even though it's not perfect. You can try to shape that behavior once we really get Johnny to the carpet successfully. You can start trying to fade those grumblings or try to get him to the carpet quicker. But he got to the carpet. He listened, right? All right, the last strategy is important too, is strategy number 6, build a united team. So consistency is key, guys. Whether you're working with paraprofessionals, co-teachers, parents, everyone needs to be on the same page. If one person is using these strategies while everyone isn't, the kids are going to notice and they'll figure out real quick where they can push their boundaries. So we want to take the time out to share any approaches that you're, using with your students, with your entire team. When everyone is working together, the strategies can become more effective and the likelihood of a power struggle decreases significantly. And I know sometimes it's hard to kind of convince people not to, have these power struggles, and the buy-in is super hard because people are just stuck in their ways. But really having everyone using the same thing is where you're going to find the quickest change. All right, so there you have it. 6 strategies to help you avoid that power struggle and create a more cooperative, harmonious environment. Remember, the goal isn't about winning or losing. It's about fostering understanding, respect, and collaboration. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Autism Academy 360. If you found these tips helpful, I'd love to hear how you're implementing them in your own life or even your classroom. Connect with me on social media or even send me a message. Your stories inspire me, and I'd love to feature some of them on future episodes. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And I really, really hope you found this podcast helpful. Until next time, guys, bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Autism Academy 360. We hope that you've gained some tips and motivation to fuel your week ahead.
Before you go, don't forget to hit that follow button on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. If you want to show support, head to Apple Podcasts and leave your rating and review.
Until next time, stay inspired, stay informed, and most importantly, stay connected. We'll catch you in the next episode.